Brothers and sisters, we live in a world where promises are often broken, where plans fall apart, and where people let us down. But there is one who stands apart from it all, who remains faithful in every season, our Heavenly Father. God has never failed. His track record is spotless, His promises are unbreakable, and His love is unchanging. When everything else collapses, when friends walk away, when plans unravel, when money dries up and time runs out, God remains. His consistency is unmatched. His promises are not like shifting shadows or human vows. The verse in Joshua 21:45 reminds us that not one of His promises failed. Every single one came to pass. You're not clinging to uncertainty. You're anchored to a perfect track record. People will say, don't get your hopes up. But I say, get your hopes high, because you serve a God whose word has a 100% fulfillment rate. Joshua 21:45 isn't poetic fluff. It's historical fact. It's a divine receipt stamped paid in full by every promise fulfilled to His people. The most faithful hands in existence are holding your life together. Not the hands of your job, your connections, or even your own strength, but God's hands. He's the same God who parted seas, shut lions' mouths, and raised the dead. Why would He start failing now? He can't. It's not in His nature. His record isn't just clean, it's undefeated. You are not a question mark in the story of God. You're a confirmed promise waiting to be revealed. From the opening syllable of your life to the final punctuation, heaven has already spoken. Not one word of His promise will fail. You're standing in a plan that has never known error, never seen collapse, never tasted defeat. Job, a man who endured unimaginable suffering, loss, and silence from God, thought he had reached the end of his story. His health, wealth, and family were gone, and his friends doubted his faith. But in the midst of it all, Job never turned his back on God. And in the end, God restored him double what he had lost. Not only did God fulfill His promises of restoration, but He showed that His plan for Job was greater than any tragedy or hardship. Job's story proves that no matter how dark the season, God's faithfulness will always bring about a greater outcome than what you could ever imagine. You might be walking through a season that makes no sense, but just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean it's not sacred. Even when it feels silent, heaven is scripting something stunning. You are not stuck. You're stationed in a process God custom designed. He's never missed a detail, and He's not starting with you. When the Israelites were about to cross the Jordan River into the Promised Land, the water was at flood stage, impossible to cross by human standards. But God had already spoken. He told the priests to step into the river with the Ark of the Covenant, and as they did, the waters parted, allowing the entire nation to cross on dry ground. This wasn't just a miracle. It was a demonstration of God's faithful promise to bring His people into the land He had sworn to give them. When it looked like there was no way, God made a way. He did not fail them then, and He will not fail you now. Let's break this lie right now that it's too late. If God has never failed, that includes your timeline. You're not behind. You're not running out of time. You're not stuck. You are right on the schedule of a God who doesn't miss appointments and never forgets promises. There are no expiration dates on God's faithfulness. It's not like milk that spoils after 7 days. His consistency has no shelf life, no wear and tear, no warnings in fine print. You don't serve a maybe God. You serve the God who whispers, I've never failed, and I never will. You've been waiting, yes. You've been stretched, absolutely. But you've also been sustained. That's proof. If God has been faithful during the pressure, He will be faithful in the promise. It's not over for you. It's about to unfold. The same God who never failed Israel will never fail you. What if that closed door you resented was the very thing keeping you from a trap? What if that delay was divine security? The evidence of God's goodness isn't always in what you got. It's often in what He didn't let through. He doesn't just provide, He protects with precision. If your life feels like ashes, good. Because God doesn't rebuild using leftovers. He resurrects from nothing. He doesn't patch up old things. He creates new things. He didn't fail you when everything burned. He was preparing the ground for beauty that doesn't come from the surface, but from the soil. There's no award for running from the fire, but there is testimony from standing in it. And when the flames come close and you feel the heat of loss, betrayal, confusion, remember this: you're not in there alone. You are accompanied by a God who stood in the fire with others before, and He hasn't changed locations. God's history with you is longer than your memory. He was working on your behalf before you even knew how to call His name. He was defending you before you knew you needed defending. So don't doubt now what He's proven for years. He does not fail. You think you need everything to align before you believe again. But faith was never about what you see. It's about trusting the voice that has never been wrong. Every time you felt forgotten, misunderstood, or overlooked, it wasn't failure. It was foundation, and the foundation is Christ, who has never crumbled. He never promised the path would be paved in comfort, but He did promise it would be filled with covenant. The God who held back oceans, shut lions' mouths, and rained bread from heaven has a history too flawless to question. If He has never failed His people, why would He start with you? You are not holding God up with your prayers. He is holding you up with His word. And His word is not fragile. It is sharper than swords, stronger than storms, and older than the winds that try to knock you down. What He said over your life still stands, and it will not fail. You've been asking, God, when? But He's answering, watch me work. Because the God who created galaxies with a whisper can shift your life in a moment. He doesn't need years. He needs your yes. He doesn't need perfect faith. He just needs willing faith. There's power in remembering. Remember the nights you cried but woke up covered in peace. Remember the moments you didn't know how, but somehow made it through. That wasn't coincidence. That was covenant. That was the proof that the God who started with you is still running with you. You may have grown tired, but God has not grown distant. He's not pacing the halls of heaven unsure of what to do next. He's been here before, with people more broken, more doubtful, more lost than you, and He still came through every single time. You were not created to carry doubt like a crown. You were designed to wear confidence in the one who doesn't change when circumstances do. Your past does not cancel God's consistency. His track record didn't expire with your mistakes. He is still good, even when we're not perfect. Let me tell you something. The pressure you're feeling, it's not the end. It's the tightening before the launch. Rockets don't rise quietly. They shake, they rumble, they roar, and so does your calling. God is not failing you. He's fueling you. You're not on the edge of collapse. You're on the edge of clarity. What looks like a dead end is just heaven blocking off every counterfeit option. When there's nowhere left to turn, that's when you see the miracle. God's faithfulness shines brightest when the lights go out. You've been thinking you're too late. But how can you be late to a timeline God controls? He's the author and the editor. He rewrites detours into destiny and scribbles grace over every delay. You're not falling behind. You're falling into alignment. So lift your eyes, not to the problem, not to the pressure, but to the promise keeper. Not one of his promises has failed. Not one has gone void. Joshua 21:45 is not just a verse, it's a verdict. And it has already ruled in your favor. If this message spoke to you today, don't let it stop here. Hit that subscribe button and let's continue this journey together, because God's faithfulness is about to unfold in ways you've never imagined. Don't miss out on the next powerful word that could change everything. God bless you.